Hello there, welcome to another great Video Game Ideas Not Used podcast, GVGINU for short. As always, I'm Andre, and it is a pleasure to share my thoughts with you. So recently, people, as far as my talking has been concerned, like just when I've just been like going off on it, I've been talking a lot about the Wii U and Nintendo, and I actually did recently get my hands on the console and actually play it. It was all that time I spent just talking about it and speculating that I realized I hadn't actually played anything on it. So while I was out and about yesterday, I took some time at a store to play the console, and yes, I am definitely picking it up as soon as I have the money to get it. I would have already had it if life didn't get in the way. But that is beside the point right now. I've done a lot of talking about games that would be good for the Wii U, and I've also done a lot of talking about indie developers. And there's a reason behind that. And my thinking is, if third party is really going to be so against Nintendo, well, turn to the indie developers. Turn to them. That's why games like I had mentioned, like, Order in Chaos or a game like Ravensword would be great as adventure games for the Wii U, even if they had to be downloaded from the eShop. They would be great games for the Wii U, especially if they were tweaked the right way. Just like games like Shadowgun would be great as shooters for the Wii U. There are plenty of games in the indie market that are actually very much similar to the bigger name games that if Nintendo played their cards right with indies and they worked with them to get their games to their platform, there would be no problem whatsoever for them to have games to the platform. And I know people are probably going to look at me like, well, most indie games aren't quality games. But I don't spend my time trying to play games that aren't quality games. I spend my time trying to play ones that I like that are really well done. I mean, you'll probably catch me every now and again just playing something that's really simple, very easy to pick up and everything like that. I do enjoy that about some games, but then there are indie games that have deep stories with deeper meanings that are very fun to play and that you can really get into, that will really draw you into them. So, Nintendo, if third-party developers are going to turn their back to you, don't get all up in arms about it. Don't get all frustrated and angry. Don't cause a stir. Just turn your attention to the indie developers. Make it good for them to put their games on your console. Make it good for them to port their games to your console. Make it good for them to put in the extra work to utilize the gamepad and the different styles of control that your console offers. Make it good for them to make it good for you to have those games. This, in my mind, it's not a difficult thing to think about. I know it's probably a lot more red tape and paperwork that has to go into it than what I'm initially thinking. But I'm pretty sure, if given the time, Nintendo could make a really, really strong relationship with indie developers the way that Sony is trying to. And we all know that Nintendo has the capital right now where they could probably support a long-running series of indie developed games for their platform. I would definitely go to Madfinger or some of the other ones I've talked about, like Milkstone Studios, Twisted Games. There's another one. There's Silver Dollar Games. I think they do like point and click stuff. Galaxy Trail, who's doing Freedom Planet. I'm part of the beta. Yes, I'm going to be playing that. There's a lot. There's just so many of them out there. And I would say, Nintendo, check out Desera, because there are a lot of indie developers that put up their alpha funding games on there. Go ahead and check those out. Check them out. See if those are the types of quality games that you would like to put on your console. And I'm pretty damn sure that if Nintendo took the time, they could find someone in the indie in the indie crowd of game developers who could put together for them a game of similar playability to Call of Duty or Battlefield 4. It's probably wouldn't be exactly the same, probably won't be just as good, but the fact is that type of game, the game genre, would be there and people could play it. And another thing they would have to do, promote these games. Nintendo, you would have to put in the money to advertise these games. You would definitely have to step up and do that. I mean, they're not going to be known to be there unless you do it. It's either you're going to have to do it, or you would have to give the indie developers at least some leeway with a little bit of a budget that they could do it themselves. And I know people are against the whole Nintendo putting out money to get games. In my mind, though, indie developers, they need money more than bigger studios do. So, in my mind, it's okay to give an indie developer a little bit, because you're not going to give them as much as a third-party studio. But if you did, they could probably make you a game that's much better than a bigger name third party. At least from my perspective, from what I've seen with indie developers that are very limited on resources and they make games. So that's just my thoughts on it. Look, I'm not telling Nintendo how to run their business. I'm just a fan of the company. Have always been, will always be. And I see that, look, third-party companies are treating you like crap. So I say turn away from them for a while. Get some of the indie devs out there that are just hungry for the exposure. Get them on board with the Wii U. Get them developing games like you have Shinin doing. Get them on board. Get them in there and make them happy and make them want to develop for your console. Because there is so much untapped potential in the Wii U, and third parties aren't utilizing it the correct way. I mean, heck, Nintendo, you haven't even utilized it the right way, to be honest, but give it to the indie developers and let them think out of the box. Make it make the feeds for them to get in much smaller. Make it easier for them to say, hey, we're going to port this. We're going to put this game on the Wii U. We're going to add features to it. We're going to add content to it. We're going to make it better than it was before. Or we're going to make this brand new game series that is going to be exclusively on the Wii U, thanks to Nintendo. And I'm not saying that there aren't indie developers out there who are enjoying the Wii U right now, because honestly there are. And I've seen the videos of those games and I am itching to play them. But there's a much bigger community of indie devs out there. So, current third party doesn't like you? Make indie dev your third party. Make them your backup. Make them the guys that you go to fill in your software needs. Heck, if you want to go out and buy out some of the indie dev studios and make them teams exclusively for your platform. That's just my thoughts. I mean, it's probably not as good an idea as it sounds like to me in my thought process, but I figured I'd get it out there and put the thought out. I mean, how many people can disagree with me that Nintendo needs more teams if they keep saying that they are understaffed? Their software development teams are understaffed. Well, come on, you guys you could easily go out and find some quality teams out there that just aren't that big and make them Nintendo branded teams. Come on, you guys got to do this. You got to make a move on this. But I pretty much think I'm done with that for right now. So on to the next subject, or gameplay, depending on which I want to do. Because I've been so happy that I've been able to record gameplay, especially been playing Shadowgun Dead Zone. If anyone wants to play me, I'm very easy to find on their Pantha35, Pantha35 on Shadowgun Dead Zone. That was a side note for anybody who wants to play online with me. Add me to your list and we'll see what we can cook up. Thank you very much for listening in. I hope that I at least got people thinking. And I'm definitely, again, going to send this to Nintendo. No way I'm going to not send it to them. So keep your eyes and ears out for more of my stuff, and until the next time, enjoy your game.